Welcome to EP Daily. Today on the show, we've got an all versus episode for you, starting with games versus movies in the rundown.
Plus, the biggest games of the season go head-to-head, starting with NBA Live and NBA 2K16.
And then Guitar Hero Live and Rock Band 4 get their turn in the versus ring. Also coming up, we have the epic showdown of Skylanders, Disney Infinity, and LEGO Dimensions. We hit the pitch with FIFA 16 and PES 2016, and much more today on EP Daily. Brought to you by EB Games. I'm your host, Victor Lucas, bringing you the latest in everything cool every single day, and things are about to get intense in our all versus episode of EP, so let's kick things off with the warm-up round in the rundown. Video games are becoming bigger and bigger competition for films. According to numbers published by Adobe Digital Index, the open-world stealth game Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain earned $179 million in its first day on store shelves. That's more than any big Hollywood movie has made in its first day at the box office, although the differences in the way the two media formats are consumed makes the numbers a little difficult to compare. One thing that is for certain, video games are further cementing themselves as a challenger for films. And one battle that continues to rage on is Jason Voorhees against some unlucky teenagers. A new Friday the 13th game is on the way called, you guessed it, Friday the 13th, the game. It's an asymmetrical multiplayer game where one player takes the role of Jason with 7 others playing as the hapless teenagers he's out to get. How you survive will be up to you. The project actually started life as another game, Slasher Volume 1 Summer Camp, which was inspired by the Friday the 13th films, but the developers recently teamed up with creator Sean Cunningham to make it an official part of the franchise. Friday the 13th, the game, is slated to arrive in fall 2016. Here to help me talk about some of this scary stuff is Scott Jones, fresh from the set of Scott's Spooky Stories. Now, what do you think of Friday the 13th again as a video game?
Well, I don't know why they keep trying to extend the Friday the 13th franchise. I don't know. The last time it was relevant was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it really, the scares that worked in the original film and in the series really apply to anybody, anywhere, anymore at all.
Well, I think,
I don't get it.
I mean, there's so much influence have come from slasher films like this in video games. Certainly a big part of the survival horror kind of genre is based on a lot of these things that were set up in movies like this. I think it's exciting to use modern day technology. I think the idea of asymmetrical play and letting people play as the serial killer is kind of exciting as well.
But we just played and saw and reviewed Evolve, and it didn't really go anywhere. It didn't ever get its feet on the ground. It didn't have the kind of traction that I think everybody was hoping it would have.
Yeah.
And I don't know how relevant this is going forward.
This is more contained, though. I think that they've got something really exciting here. All right, well, movies versus games.
I don't think anybody who plays video games doesn't also love movies as well. And I think, I fell in love first with movies as a kid. And then I fell in love with video games big time because I felt like it was a new, exciting way to tell stories. And they felt so much more powerful and personal than movies ever did. I could be part of this world. I could explore this world. I could live in this world. And I feel like it's still a medium that's evolving and growing, whereas film kind of plateaued a little bit. We're moving into IMAX direction. We're moving in 3D. And I don't feel like maybe movies kind of have the same gravity that maybe they might have had earlier in the medium's history.
All right, well, let's get on to our verses right now. One day we'll have to do a versus of all the different VR components that are out there. But right now, it's NBA Live 16 against NBA 2K16.
Victor Lucas, you are the expert on everything b-ball. Is that what they say, b-ball? Are you b-balling?
They do say b-ball, but
Professor b-ball is with us
I'm just
today.
a big fan of hoops. Well, let's talk about the graphics for these two games. Remarkable work, I think, on the part of Live. They've had an incredible sort of competitor with the 2K game for a long time. And this year, it's a tighter race.
It is, for sure. The thing that still needs to be tweaked in both games, of course, I think, are some of the faces that we see. We see some disturbing stuff in 2K, and we see some disturbing stuff in Live, but the arenas in Live, I think, are superior on the visuals front.
I like the fans better, though, in 2K. There's a little bit more variety. There's a lot of life with the cheerleaders and the mascots. I like to see the mascots in both games, but I just feel like they did a great job with the actual, geometry and the spaces of the arenas in Live. but 2K's population is better. It feels more alive.
I think you're right. I'm going to pick 2K on this front.
Yeah, so visuals, yes, for sure.
Absolutely.
Go to 2K.
Let's talk about audio now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting broadcast.
But you can see in live that they don't quite have what 2K has at this point. You hear some of the play-by-play that's a beat or two behind what's actually happening on the court, and that spoils whatever mirage they've created for you.
Well, more than that, though, you hear a lot of repeated sequences in live. I just don't think that right now, with the fidelity that we're capable of with the new machines, the live team has as much chatter backed up as we've got on the 2K franchise. But one thing that I really noticed, 2K is a noisy game. Whether it's the animated bits in the story mode that are all Spike Lee written and sort of hyper accentuated stuff, or it's the sportscasters.
And he jams it with authority.
How about that? Breaking out the Statue of Liberty on that dunk.
A nice way to pad that lead a little more.
There's more stuff to sink your teeth into with 2K, so I'm going to give it to 2K.
Yeah, I got to go with 2K as well. I agree with you on all fronts. Well, let's wrap it up and talk about gameplay, Victor Lucas. We got 2K, we got the improved defense this year, and I think that is extraordinary. The fact that they push players, fans, people who've been playing this series for years in new ways, I think is so important in any sports game, and 2K does it best of all this year.
Yeah, they really do, and it's not just the defensive stuff, it's just smarter AI in general. Like a lot of your teammates on live are just going to stand around. It's remarkable to go head-to-head, and you see that the players that you're not controlling in live are just not as competent as the players that you're not controlling in 2K. And it's immediately apparent. The physicality of the players, it feels much more real and much more authentic in 2K as well. You feel like you're actually embodying these powerhouses. Live still feels like it has a lot of the score-heavy kind of game design that used to be a part of the live franchise back in the 16-bit days when it launched, which is fun. It's great to go in with those windmill dunks and be able to snake your way to the hoop no matter what defenders are in your way, but it's just not very realistic. And 2K works its ass off to be as realistic as it could possibly be.
So, Victor Lucas, we're at the end where we need to decide on the winner, and I think
pretty clear.
I think the winner's pretty clear. Look at the smile. You can use that on your box cover 2K next year. It's Victor Lucas, very happy after playing NBA 2K16. Great job, guys.
Yeah, so far unstoppable.
2K, once again, my friend, got a leg up, but Live is gaining ground, for sure.
The champion, but stick around. When we come back, we've got Guitar Hero versus Rock Band again.
I felt a great disturbance in the force, as if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced.
I was there when that first movie came out, and I thought it was very interesting. There's a big lineup of people that are going to go to this movie I went to that was going to have all this fantasy and all this special effects and all this big glorious stuff, and people were willing to go in there, and then they turn to me and they go, "Oh, what do you do?" And I go, "Oh, I like fantasy too." And they go, "Oh, you like sci-fi?" I go, "No, I collect comic books." People were standing in that line, I'll never forget, turning their nose up at me, going, "Are you mentally arrested, Todd? You collect comic books with all the fantasy and the aliens and the spaceship and the ray guns?" And they go, "What a geek. Oh, excuse me, we're going into this movie with all the aliens and the spaceships and the ray guns," and it was okay for them to geek out to the left, but I was mentally arrested because I had comic books to the right. Luckily, we're now in the year 2015, and it's sort of all blended together, so geekdom is now wider than that. But there was a time when comic book collecting was actually sort of a bad word. That people thought you were sort of squirrely, or you didn't have a high IQ. So I sort of resented some of those Star Wars fans from that day.
Oh, man, I'm so excited. This is us, Vic, okay? This is us. This is Star Wars, and we are getting closer.
The Rebel base will be in range in about 55 days or so. Incredible. All right, but right now it's time to go Rock Band versus Guitar Hero.
It's time for a music versus now, everybody. It's Rock Band 4 versus Guitar Hero Live.
Yeah. Let's talk about the visuals. And there are some distinct visual styles in both of these titles. Rock Band, I think, has a little bit more of a familiar look.
Yeah, this is a classic Rock Band aesthetic. You got your cartoonish, exaggerated Rock Band figures.
Lots of color.
Yeah, and they look ridiculous. The women look ridiculous. The men look ridiculous. And this is apparently how people dress in the Rock Band world when they get on stage.
Yeah, lots of flourish. It's fun, but we've seen it before. Now, Guitar Hero Live, Freestyle Games, the developers decided to go on a totally different tactic. They picked up the reins from the previous developers, and there have been several along the way now, and they said, we've got to do something totally different with the look and feel of this. They shot a lot of full motion video, which has been a little controversial because not a lot of FMV games are that good, quite frankly.
I don't know if any FMV games have ever been good before. So they're trying here, and I think it's gutsy, and I think the risk ends up with a huge reward.
And the thing that's kind of cool about the visual look of Guitar Hero is it's energizing. You know, you can't not be sort of taken in by all of the visual that you're seeing.
Visually, I think you're right. The edge goes to Guitar Hero Live.
Yep.
Let's move on and let's talk about gameplay. We're talking about this new peripheral. There's two new guitars here in the game. Rock Band has a new guitar, so does Guitar Hero. Me, personally, I feel like the Guitar Hero peripheral maybe moves forward a little bit more than the Rock Band.
I love the soloing in Rock Band. I love the customization sort of element in there. I love that you can solo through a whole song.
But
I think
it just
that's all
doesn't
super
mean
fun.
anything, though. I think it's fun one time, and then it's not fun anymore, and you realize it doesn't really have any bearing on your score.
I think it's fun on repeat performances, but I think that the gameplay, the joy of progressing in a game and the leaderboard kind of tracking and the actual challenge of Guitar Hero is really fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. The challenge in Guitar Hero is fantastic.
Yeah.
I also, in the Rock Band controller, I don't like the fret buttons down lower on the neck.
Well, that's for soloing if you want to solo.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
The perfect thing for me would be a hybrid of the two. I think that would be great, where you could have the challenge up here, but then also be able to do a little bit of soloing. Yeah. That would be amazing. And you could see that if these things take off again, we're probably going to see something like that down the road.
So the edge, I think, overall goes to Guitar Hero Live, which I'm shocked.
Me too.
I'm shocked.
Me too. Guitar Hero Live, great job. Rock Band's not a bad choice either, but Guitar Hero Live is more exciting this year.
Guitar Hero, just a little bit of an edge, my friend.
Very, very fun stuff. But right now, it's time to go to our Toys to Life battle. Disney versus Lego versus Skylanders. Here we go.
It's quite safe, Otto.
This is the inevitable versus. This is the one that we've all been talking about all year. Disney Infinity versus Lego Dimensions versus Skylanders SuperChargers.
Whoa!
All the Toys to Life are coming to battle. Let's get to it because we've got a lot to cover here. Yeah. Visuals, which one looks the best?
You know that I'm not big on this visual thing. Honestly, I enjoyed playing Skylanders on the Wii U, and I didn't really care that the visuals didn't match up on the PS4.
The Skylanders visuals definitely look better on the PS4 or Xbox One.
I know, but I mean, that's so hard to decide, and I feel like it's not going to be a deciding factor for families out there either.
Right, okay.
Right, but I guess I'm going to go with Lego because I like the way the Lego look, not only on my TV, but in my living room once I put it all together.
Okay, I think I'm going to go with Disney Infinity once again because I like the characters, the figures, and when I'm taking down AT-ATs, on a Hoth in Disney Infinity, I'm like, this is pretty fantastic. This is a pretty fun recreation of gaming I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
I think it's Disney that takes it from me.
All right, well, I'm including toys in this, so Lego takes the cake. Okay, so we're not matching on this one.
Okay.
But what's the next one?
Okay, so we're not matching, so we've got one vote for Disney, one vote for Lego.
Yeah.
Let's move on to audio and the sound department for these three games. Disney Infinity, of course, has some authentic Disney cast members from some of their properties in here. You don't get Mark Hamill, and you don't get Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher, but there are some other Disney voices that we've known and loved populating some of the characters that we know and love throughout the thing. Lego spent a ton of money. They got Michael J. Fox in here. They got Dan Castellaneta to play Homer. They got, lots of the voice cast that we know and love. Alison Brie is playing Unikitty.
And why are there two Batmans? Batmen's?
There aren't. There's only one Batman.
I feel like I have to give it to the Disney Infinity version for this reason. It plays on my nostalgia. It plays on my childhood so much.
Yes.
And every time you hear these songs and just you get reminded of something happy that happened to you in your life, or something when you're discovering a Disney movie for the first time, and you get that with this game.
My goodness!
There is magic in Lego as well, but you can also see the corporate machinations a little bit more than you can in the Disney stuff. They've disguised that a little bit more, but I'm going to give it to Lego just because the real money was spent. So we've got
2 Lego.
We've got 2 Lego and 2 Disney.
Oh, Skylanders getting left in the dust.
It is so far. Let's talk about gameplay, the most important element here in our versus. Skylanders versus Disney versus Lego. What do you think?
I feel like I'm not going to give a mercy point to Skylanders here because they've always had great gameplay. They understand it.
They created this category.
They know how it works. They did. They created this category, and everybody else that came on board afterward is looking to them and seeing what they've done. I think that Disney Infinity has made huge strides this time around with 3.0 to make a better game, and they have done that for sure. Are they at Skylanders level? Not quite yet, but it's close enough. Like, it's really close. But even Lego, oh my God, Lego is so good too.
Yeah.
This is so tough.
I know, it is. And I think there's a couple of factors at play here. You kind of have to pick the characters that you like, first of all, and the toy designs that you like, second of all. I think Lego's done some really great stuff so that you're taking the toys off and playing with them and then putting them back on more than the other games. And that, I think, suggests toy to life a little bit more than the other ones.
No way. Skylanders has toy to life more than any of the other ones.
Because it has
the car, the vehicle now that you can actually take off the platform and move it around the living room if you want to. That is toys to life for me.
Well, here's what's really significant for me. Out of all 3 of them, I just love the toys in Disney Infinity the most. The sculpts are incredible. They're the ones that I will display, and I love that there's a uniformity across all of these different characters and brands, but they all sort of coexist in this really great aesthetic way.
For sure. The figures that you could take the most pride in owning are the Disney Infinity figures. So for that reason, I want to give it to Disney Infinity. For gameplay, though, I feel like it has to go to Skylanders.
Really? Well, I mean, I'm going to throw this, though. Disney Infinity is the only one that allows you to build levels and download other levels and has that whole customizational hook and the ability for Disney themselves to kind of throw in extra scenarios for you to play. Like you can buy the Tron figures and play a whole Tron level and stuff. You know, that's pretty amazing.
What's your vote, though, for gameplay?
I think it's Disney because of that customization option and that ability for new stuff to keep floating into the game all the time.
That's a fair vote. So really, the winner here is Disney Infinity 3.0. Either way, whatever you choose, just be prepared to fork out
a lot of dough. But also, you're going to get unbelievable fun. You know, these are tremendous games, and bravo to everybody that worked on them because they didn't drop the ball. You know, these really could have been lame, but they're all great.
We have no more space in our living rooms.
No.
You know, Vic, I love it when 3 consenting games get together on the show.
All right, stick around. We've got a soccer versus for you when we return. Welcome back to EP Daily. It is time for some more versus action. What do we have now, my friend?
Good effect.
It's time for football, my friend. As they say on the continent, we're talking about PES 2016 versus FIFA 16.
We don't even need graphics on this show.
And Marissa.
Now, this is a very important one.
And we love both of these games. They're both incredible. And we thought it was important to kind of stack them head to head. What did you think of the visuals for each of these?
Clearly, FIFA wins this match because, I mean, look at the players. They look fantastic. Are you kidding me? The visuals in this game are lovely. Even the audiences, the crowds, everything looks so freaking beautiful. It's so well done.
This is a sparkling game, but when you talk about the players, though, you can't discredit the animations. And I think that the animations in PES are a little stronger. They just feel a little more fluid, a little more lifelike. It's not that the FIFA ones are bad. FIFA's a better looking game.
Definitely FIFA takes the cake for that one. Gameplay is the most important, and it's very important here. I am giving the gameplay to Pro Evo. It just feels so smooth. This game is, God, it feels like butter in your hands.
And what's interesting, we came to PES, I agree with you, we came to PES after FIFA. You're playing FIFA, you're going, oh my God, this is so
amazing,
strong, it's so big, it's so loaded with features and loaded with different ways to play the game. all of that is absolutely true about FIFA. You just think, how can any game compete with the fun and the quality and the value of FIFA? And then you play PES.
Any game could.
And then you play PES, and it's like, this is ridiculous. I'm having so much fun passing the ball back and forth. You know, the first few hours you play FIFA, you're missing your shots, you're missing your passes. Part of that, I think, is realistic.
Yeah.
But it's also a little bit frustrating when you're playing a video game. You want to feel that heat of control, and you don't fight the control at all in PES. You know, it all makes sense. Certainly, they're both learning from each other. Every year they are, so.
Well, it sounds like FIFA is winning this match.
For me, it is.
I just feel like I don't want to discourage people from getting Pro Evo because it's still an amazing game. You're still going to love it. If you're a footy fan, honestly, you can't go wrong with either game. It just really depends on how attached you are to the licenses. That's all.
What an incredible year to be a sports fanatic.
It really is. So, FIFA, you're our winner. Congrats.
Go!
Golazo, Colombia!
Here's the shot. And it's a goal.
So, to sum up, not really any losers there. Both great games.
Yeah, and stick around. We've got more spooky stories for you. If you want more EP, go to our website, epn.tv, for bonus content and full episodes. We're also on Facebook and Twitter.
Oh, hello, everyone. It's time for Scary Movie Time once again. Today, we're taking a look at probably the most upsetting piece of fiction I have ever seen. It is called Human Centipede. Human Centipede is very, very, very upsetting, very difficult to watch. I don't expect you to watch it with anyone who you actually care about. This is truly frightening, gut punch material. Watch this if you dare. Listen, tune in into tomorrow's episode when we will take a closer look at Bill Murray's latest movie. Thanks for watching, everybody.
See you tomorrow. EP would like to thank its sponsors, Nintendo, Xbox. EP's mobile coverage is brought to you by GameLock, makers of Asphalt 8 Airborne, which you can play on your Android or iOS device for free right now.
Sir, we'll get you people squared away with the Humvee and body armor.
I'm sorry. Body armor?
Let's keep all of that on a need-to-know basis, okay? Rise and shine, Songbird.
The girl's gone.
What about the show?
Well, I guess the show must go on.